Alright, get comfortable, get some coffee, or like boot up your favorite game, because I'm going to be rambling a lot in this video, so just be prepared to listen to my voice for a long time while you do a secondary thing that'll keep your attention. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things in this video. I'm going to be talking about why the New Vegas engine is so poorly optimized for making awesome animations. I'm going to be talking about the ideas that I've had for the future, and yeah, I'm going to be talking about a Kickstarter idea I have at some point in this video. But it's okay if you're not interested in that. In any case, just watch the video in its entirety and then comment. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Alright, I've got something really special for you guys, and today I'm going to show you a few updates to the melee unarmed mod that I'm making. I'm going to call it Close Quarters Combat, or CQC for short. Anyway, as you can see, the NPCs can ambiently perform unarmed and melee attacks, even against other NPCs, so it's not just going to be against you, the player. They're going to be able to also, like, perform melee engagements with each other. The only problem right now is it kind of looks crappy, and I think I need to remake some of these animations, but I'll tell you what, I've been working really hard on these animations, and you know what they say, like, perfection is the enemy of done. I feel like if I continue to try to work on these animations forever, I'm never gonna finish them. And I don't want to be that modder who, like, spends fucking a year and a half, 2 years on a single mod. I'd rather release it and update it in accordance with other people's, like, complaints or concerns or criticisms. But I'll kind of narrate what's happening right here as these guys do a little wrestling match in front of me. I modded their health so that they have, like, astronomically high health, so they won't be likely to die. So they'll just be fighting in perpetuity. Let's see. As you can see, he's still alive. Come on, get up. There. And even if you're holding a ranged weapon or a gun, you can still do melee attacks. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat. I think the desktop audio might be too loud, so I'm going to turn that down. But yeah, I just kind of want to walk you through my thought process behind this mod. Like I said, it's not perfect, but I'm really super proud of it. I've got 30 different animations that include hit reactions and melee attacks and grappling and punches and kicks and, like, weapon bashes. Watch, he'll do a weapon bash right now. That's one of the grappling moves. And when they engage in the grapple, most of the time, one of them will go unconscious, go ragdoll. Here, let's reload this. You see, the problem with making animation mods for New Vegas is a lot of the times I'll spend an incredible amount of time trying to make my animation look perfect in Blender. But then when I put it in New Vegas, it's just like the animation's scuffed. It's just, this engine has a way of mulching my beautiful animations that look great in Blender, but when they get put in the engine, all of a sudden they just look like shit. And there are a few reasons for that. Reason number one is foot IK. Let's see if I can... Okay, so pay attention to his feet, okay? I want you to pay attention to his feet for a second. So, foot IK, inverse kinematics, as you might know if you're a 3D modeler, it's like the foot's adherence to the ground, so that when you're stepping on a surface, like, for example, a person's body, look, see how my foot is on top? Oh, actually, I can... Oh, no, I have the perfect demonstration to show you how New Vegas fucks up my animations. Watch this. Pay attention. Did you see the feet? Watch the feet. Here, I'm going to roll forward again. I'm going to dive forward. Look, see how the fucking feet are jittering around? New Vegas, the New Vegas engine is fucking up my beautiful animations. If I disable foot IK by typing in TFIK down in the bottom right there, now foot IK is off. So even though I'm standing on the guy, my foot is going directly through his body. and now the foot IK is off, my feet don't jitter around anymore, so, and even when I roll. So, like, yeah, that's issue number 1. Issue number 2 is the proportions of the New Vegas human bodies are really weird. Like, they're weirdly uncanny, and they have weird, like, unrealistic body proportions. I noticed this when comparing and contrasting them to my own models, which I used, like, I didn't use Sketchfab. I used, like, real-life reference to my own, like, average human body as realistic as possible. And when I compared it to, like, the New Vegas skeleton, I noticed that the New Vegas guys have extremely, like, long torsos. Like, their torsos are weirdly elongated for supposedly regular humans. So that's also kind of why I don't know. I mean, you don't notice it because you're just so used to seeing the New Vegas like NPCs just the way they are. But if you compare them to like other models from other video games, you'll kind of notice that like NPCs in New Vegas are just weirdly disproportionate to real life. And then lastly, probably the final reason. Actually, there's 2 final reasons. One of the other reasons is that the game performed, like, the frame rate is totally inconsistent, and you might get high frames, but you're going to get a lot of skipped frames and a lot of duplicated frames. So you're going to be in a situation where, like, you'll see a guy's arm move, and it'll, like, stay in the same place on 2 frames, and then be in, like, a position half a second later on, like, the next frame. It's just, like, the frames aren't smooth. That's the best way I can describe it. And then the last one is, if we pay attention to... Here, let's kill one of these guys so I can actually show you. When he moves diagonally... Come on! Move! Whatever. See, this is just like... This is why I'm becoming, like, increasingly disillusioned with making mods for New Vegas, is because the jank in the game is just so unacceptable. It just, like, demolishes any, like, vision that I have for any cool mods, because every time I figure out a cool way to implement a mod, like, I have to deal with 10, like, troubleshooting issues. But yeah, no, I'll just say it. Moving diagonally doesn't work on NPCs. So, like, as you can see, my feet move diagonally because I have Diamove on, but NPCs, their legs will slide across the ground in an unrealistic way. Oh, see? You're just fucking walking into a post right there. I mean, just like, yeah. And this is basically a clean install of New Vegas. The only thing I have installed right now in terms of mods is awesome crippling effects, a few loose files like the sky, the clouds up there, and then, what else? Oh yeah, and then Project Agility and CQC. So this is not to... I didn't want to make this video like me complaining the entire time, but I might as well describe the limitations of the engine as I work with it, because it's so difficult. This is part of the reason I want to make my own games, is so that, like, with the story that I want to tell, like the action story that I want to tell in New Vegas, if I wanted to do that, it would be easier for me to just make my own game and port the story of New Vegas into my stable, like, good running game than to try to mod New Vegas. Like, this engine's so old, it's like practically held together with like wishes and duct tape and glue, you know? I guess while I'm complaining, I might as well describe why New Vegas feels janky, and why the NPCs just feel like robots, like you're not actually fighting real people. Now, I want you to pay attention to what this guy is doing, okay? And compare it to, like, real-life footage of gunfights, or maybe even compare it to GTA 5 or The Last of Us. Now, you'll notice that occasionally this guy just fucking stops dead in his tracks, just stops on a dime. Watch, he's gonna stop in a second. Watch, he's just standing completely fucking still. Like, there's no... Here, I'm gonna burp, I'm sorry. Part of the design philosophy of dramatic inertia was trying to make the NPCs just a little bit more lively. But currently, there's no way to make enemies, like, slow down to a stop. Like, dramatic inertia, all it does is make them gallop into a full sprint, but as you can see, they stop on a dime. And there needs to be, like, smoothing between the animations, between fully running and coming to a complete stop. That and dramatic inertia fixes this, but part of the reason that New Vegas is so janky is because when enemies move around, their torso is completely vertical. Like, it's just, they're standing straight up. They don't lean to the side, except in dramatic inertia, as you can see here. So, like, in dramatic inertia, it's a little bit fixed because they actually, like, move around as if they have momentum, as if they have weight to them. But in the vanilla game, and, oh, actually, this is vanilla movement right here. In the vanilla game, their torso doesn't lean or pitch or yaw, like, almost at all. Especially not in, like, the direction that they're moving. It just stays completely, like, stagnant in the air. How else can I describe the jank in New Vegas? I mean, it goes without saying that this game is really unstable and it's constantly crashing. What else is there? Oh yeah, actually, I'll be able to show you this. Now, this is a vanilla bug. This isn't due to CQC. Oh, no, come on, let's go. Sometimes enemies will have invisible weapons, and you'll see that in a second here. Actually, why don't we watch them fight for a little bit, and maybe I'll come across that bug. There's like a rendering bug where sometimes pieces of NPCs' bodies will become invisible. That happens a lot in the King's hideout. In certain portions of that interior world space, the fucking Kings will just disappear if they go ragdoll in certain places. But, yeah. I'm really proud of the way the punches look. I worked really hard on them. It's a real shame that they tend to just kind of look like shit when they get rendered in the New Vegas engine. But here, let's load this scene up again. And just, I don't know, I want you to just pay attention to the way the animation looks. Like, they don't move around like real human beings. Oh, yeah, and another thing. They, like... It's like, when they crouch, it's just, like, instant. It's practically instant. So, I'm gonna try to fix that with the next update of dramatic inertia. And thanks for participating in the straw poll, everybody. I'm really digging everybody's feedback. And thanks for your continued interest in my mods and stuff. The reason that I'm front-loading all of this trouble I'm having with the New Vegas animation modding, the reason I'm front-loading it is because I want to ask you, is this acceptable? Like, if you were to play New Vegas and this is what it looks like, if like this was the final product of CQC, would you be okay? Here, let's try to coax them into fighting each other. Come on, come on, run at each other. Come on, fellas, come on. Oh yeah, and another thing. You might see this in a second. Legionaries, when they're looting NCR dead bodies, they'll just stand, like, there for, like, 15 seconds. Watch this, watch this. Come on, do it. Yeah, there's no urgency to their movement, except when they're running. Then they're running extremely fast. Oh, I forgot another thing. Another reason that animation looks so janky in New Vegas is because, at least if you don't have a dramatic inertia installed, their foot placement on the ground betrays how fast they're moving. That is to say, in New Vegas, you're actually running as fast as a normal human could sprint, but it's animated as if he's jogging, and the end result makes it look like his feet is sliding on the ground. And it's precisely why it looks like his feet is sliding on the ground, is because he's animated to look like he's jogging. But vanilla running speed is actually deceptively fast. The only reason that it seems like you're running so slow is because the world space is so big and empty. That's why it feels like you're running slow. I'd like to show you something, actually. Load. Where is it? Oh, kiss my ass, motherfucker. See, my game crashed. So, like, this game's just proving my point for me. And it doesn't seem to matter, like, what kind of, like, quality of life mods you install. It's gonna be, I don't know, it just runs like, this game runs like ass. It doesn't even seem to matter. And, like, look at that. Like, the weapon is, like, not even holstered. It's just floating off of his body. And, like, the blending between different animations can be shitty. Although, that's partly my, like, kind of partly my fault. Because I made them blend in a certain way for reasons. But, let's see if I can... Okay. I want to make this demonstration. So... I want you to pay attention to just how large these doors are, okay? Like, this, even though this is a female character, this width of this door is like 5 times her shoulder width. This is like an absurdly large door. And if you just kind of think about the logistics of this table right here, like, there's no reason that, like, a lobby, like, front desk should be this huge, right? But then you have, like, sensibly, like, normal-sized objects, like these cups, they're normal-sized, this beer thing, that's normal-sized, the whiskey, this couch is relatively, like, normal-sized, maybe these windows are normal-sized too, but, like, the reason the world space feels so large is because it is pretty large. Like, this hallway is actually pretty large. Like, if you were to transpose yourself into this hallway in real life, you might notice that the hallway's height is almost twice the height of your height. It's like 14 feet tall, right? But you don't really think about that because you're always playing in first person. So that's the shit that you don't really notice. But you do notice if you play in third person and you, like, kind of animate, you like spend your time animating the game. And let's say maybe if we go outside, we can, like, look at what I'm trying to say here is, like, the scale of the game objects are horribly inconsistent, and, like, it makes the game feel like a wacky funhouse mirror world where, like, the game is simultaneously, like, the world space is simultaneously tiny, like you can walk across it in like 8 minutes, but at the same time, the individual objects in the world are super fucking huge sometimes, but sometimes they're sensibly sized. So that's part of the reason I think, like, that has an effect on your player moving around, because your player has to move fast to get through, like, the big empty game world. I'm not sure what else I can say about why the animation looks so shitty in New Vegas. I'm sure it'll come to me. I'm becoming increasingly interested in making my own video games, and that's partially why I'm making this video. Yes, it is April Fool's, but this is not an April Fool's joke. Let's go take a look. Let's go visit some enemies, and let's watch them fight some more.
You like that?
Yeah, so as I was saying before, is this acceptable? Would you be cool with this? I could continue to work on the animations, because they're obviously not perfect. They do need work, but there seems to be an upward limit to how good an animation can look at New Vegas. I'm sorry, it's harsh to say, but it's true. Like, or maybe there's an upward limit to, like, my skill. Maybe it really is just a skill issue on my part. But I'm trying, you know. But just take a look at this. Just watch it a few times, and maybe you can tell me, yeah, that leg sweep animation looks like ass. I really need to fix that. But it looked good in Blender, and maybe I'll show you footage of my Blender files, and you can, like, you can be my second pair of eyes. You can, like, validate me, tell me that it looks good in Blender, but when I put it in the engine, it seems to just get totally, you know, foobarred. Come on. Alright, let's watch a large-scale battle. This is where, like, errors will happen, like, animation errors are more likely to happen, and weird stuff will be more likely to happen. People engaging in melee combat with, like, 2 characters at once, or out of sync with each other, or other bugs like the disappearing weapons due to the spears. You'll see that in a second. I'm sure you'll see it at some point. I mean, as much as I am complaining, I am super happy with the result I have so far, and it's going to be even more awesome when I get it to work with the player. Like, the player will be able to... See? Look, look, look. He's just standing completely still. His feet are just planted on the fucking ground, dude. It's part of the reason that this game feels janky, is because it is janky. Come on, fight him. NPCs will have a tendency to just, like, plant their feet on the ground, not move at all. Like, they're not even moving in place. And they'll, like, weirdly... And then you have this bug where, like, if you aim... If you just click the aim button, the interpolation will make it so that your arm, like, sticks upward or sticks downward. It's just... Yeah, this... Yeah, I don't know. Let's take another look. I mean, I love the story to this game. The story is what keeps me coming back. The story, the dialogue, like the concepts. This game is like full of good ideas. That's a real tragedy. This game is like a good idea machine, and it's structured in such a way that you can like roleplay as anything you want. You can pretend that you're like a knight of yore, or you could like imagine that you're an army man or a cowboy or like a gangster. It's like, it facilitates roleplay. You can roleplay as basically any media trope that you want, because the world of the wasteland, like, is built around, like, that sort of idea. That, like, you can be anybody you want to be from any time in history. You can play as Indiana Jones in New Vegas. You can play as John Wick in New Vegas. Like, the lore permits it, because there are those types of people, and there are those types of societies in New Vegas. That's why it's one of the best role-playing games of all time, is because it has a lot of tropes. It borrows tropes from a lot of media, like a huge diversity of media. You could pretend you're like a Roman soldier, or if you like play as the cons, you could pretend that you're like a dropout, hippie, druggy, like beatnik type of person. Like, it's just like, I don't know, there's just so many cool things that you could pretend to be. Your character's person is only limited by your imagination. That's what makes a great RPG, in my opinion. And, even though there are a shit ton of tropes that New Vegas borrows from, like, it's all weirdly consistent in the game world, and it all sort of makes sense. Like, depending on your mood, you could pretend that, like, when you play New Vegas, you're playing a zombie game. Like, if you're exclusively, like, visiting and harassing feral ghouls. Or you could pretend that it's, like a high-concept sci-fi drama. Or you could pretend that it's well, you can't really pretend that it's a fantasy game. Unless you're, like, using Wild Wasteland. But, I don't know. I think I've basically said my piece on why I think New Vegas is a great RPG. That's why it's such a shame that the animations and the performance is so crap. I also need to update the dramatic staggering. We're gonna see a disappearing weapon at some point, I promise. And I don't think it's my mods either. I think it is just a vanilla bug. As there are many. But yeah, just take a look. Sometimes they miss, but I scripted it so that if they miss, they don't do any damage. And there's another grapple move, and another stomp. Punching him. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about why I'm gonna do I'm gonna make a really controversial decision. I'm gonna make a really controversial decision, guys. Here it is. Here's that controversial decision. You won't be able to... there won't be a bash button. It'll be automatic. If you get too close to an enemy, you will automatically melee them, or you'll have an engagement with them. And you might win or lose, depending on your skills versus theirs. So, yes, there's going to be no bash button. There's going to be no melee button. You just look in the direction of the enemy you're fighting, and you will automatically... yeah, see? More like animation errors, see? His gun is sticking through his shoulder. But yeah, this might be controversial, but there's a few reasons I'm doing this. One is, first and foremost, the, New Vegas is an RPG. Number two, probably the more important reason, is I don't really care to make it compatible with, like, MCM or any, because I'm not really, I don't think I'm that adept at making, like, it compatible with MCM and any files, because I'm also concerned about controller players, and I know that I know there's a mod for it, but vanilla New Vegas doesn't allow you to keybind a bash button to like a controller button. So I have controller players kind of in mind when I'm making this decision. Also, it's just kind of, and this is probably the biggest reason that I'm making it totally automatic. The biggest reason that I'm making it automatic, that when you get close enough to an enemy, you'll engage in melee. The reason that I'm doing that is because it's more chaotic that way. So it forces you, the player, to make a decision to not get close to the enemy until you're ready. So it will force you to actually, like, be cognizant of spacing. So you're going to think more about where you are in the world, where the nearest wall is, where the other obstructions are. So you might be in a situation where you get annoyed when the enemies do melee at you and force you to engage in melee combat. But that's kind of by design. Jeez, they're really beating each other up. It's pretty much stable. I had some other people test this out, and they said that they had no issues. Like I said, the biggest problem with this mod is that it's just gonna kind of look bad. But hopefully the novelty of just seeing NPCs kick and punch at each other, hopefully the novelty of that will overcome the fact that it looks kind of like ass. Sorry I'm speaking so loud. The mic is kind of far away from my face, so I'm just kind of screaming into it. What else did I want to say? Project Agility is coming out soon, and I've been hyping up something for a long time that I've been kind of cagey about, but I'm going to be starting a Kickstarter pretty soon here. I would like to not have to go back to a day job. I've been living off savings for the better part of, like, half a year. Since October, that's for sure. So I don't know if it's been half a year. Let me count. October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Yeah, almost half a year now. I've been living off savings. I'm probably going to maybe apply for unemployment. But yeah, I'm going to start a Kickstarter. And I would like that Kickstarter to enable me to continue to work on New Vegas mods too. So if the Kickstarter is successful, not only will I be making the game that I advertised in the Kickstarter, it will also allow me to stay at home and continue to make mods and not go on hiatus. If this is successful, I will suck your dick. No, I'm just kidding. But close to it. I will, I will pretty much use all my time to make mods that make people happy, and hopefully I can make myself happy by, like, realizing the games that I want to make too. And as you can see, Project Agility is still working pretty well, just rolling over tables and stuff. I'm gonna remove the sprinting functionality from the main file in Project Agility because it seems to be glitchy for some people out there who tested it out, most people actually. So I'm gonna make it an optional file just in case for some weird reason people prefer my sprinting animations over the ones that are already on Nexus mods. But I mean, I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility because I like my sprinting animations more than any of the ones I've seen on Nexus mods. I'm super excited for the future, even if my Kickstarter... And by the way, I have a bunch of ideas for games. I'm not sure which one I'm going to select as the one I'm going to make my Kickstarter all about, but maybe I'll make it of like a bundle of games. I mean, there's no rule against that, right? There's no rule against making a Kickstarter that advertises more than one game. But first, I really need to make mock-up gameplay of the games that I want to make. And I've already been making a shit ton of assets for them. I've been making 3D models, I've been making textures, I've been making animations, like I said, for almost 6 months now. But concerning what main idea I'm going to advertise on my Kickstarter, I don't know. But if the Kickstarter is successful, I'm just going to stay at home all day, just cycle between the gym, my home, and then like whatever I do for fun on the side. I'm just going to cycle between those, live off savings, and maybe hire some other people like programmers and stuff. I am not going to use AI in any capacity. Excuse me. I'm not going to use AI to code. I'm not going to use AI to make art. I'm not going to use AI to make music. I'm not even going to use AI to get ideas. I've used ChatGPT. It's fun. But I'm not going... I'm not like as a concept opposed to AI. I think it has its place, but I'm not going to use it because that's not Gucci. And yeah, I don't know. I'm sure if I thought about it a little bit more, I'd better be able to articulate why I'm not going to use it. But I guess I like human beings more than I like AI, so that might just be... That's probably all I really need to say. Let's make these guys fight each other again and watch it. I don't even know what I'm going to call this video. I'm just kind of rambling. Oh, also, I'd like to make more videos where I ramble and talk about my thoughts. If there's a high demand for that, I'd really like to make that a priority. Because, I don't know, that could be fun too. And it always gets some engagement. I'd like to advertise my YouTube channel a little bit more. I'd like to, like, put some real effort into these videos. But, people, you know me, I'm pretty lazy, so I just kind of put an effort in when the moment strikes. It's never all... Whenever I try to plan something out, it never goes the way that I want to. The only way that I get shit done is when I, like, actually just don't have a plan and I just improvise. I just, like, turn the mic on, I improvise, I don't even have a plan, I don't have a script, this is totally off-scripted. That's why you hear so many ums and uhs and me repeating the same phrase over and over again when I make videos. I noticed that. In, like, my tutorial video, I think I said, like, bad things will happen, that phrase. I used that exact phrase, like, 35 different fucking times. It was insane. I've never realized that I use the same phrase so often when I, like, yeah. And I say concerning a lot, too, actually, because I learned, like, I learned how to use it in a cool way because of the dialogue from this game, actually. Mr. House's dialogue. He says it, he says, like, concerning your contract or something. So I kind of just, like, gobbled that up like osmosis, and now I just kind of say it similar to the way that Mr. House uses it. But I'm not nearly as smart as Mr. House, so it might be kind of out of turn for me to use it in such a way. But I'm generally positive about the future. And hey, even if my Kickstarter doesn't, like, take off, I'll just go back to a day job, but I'll continue to make mods. It will just be slower. Like, whatever happens, I'm not gonna stop, because I do like this game, and I like continuing to make mods for it, but at some point, I'm gonna try to see if I can get something special to work out for me. I want to be in a situation where I don't have to worry about money, and I can just continue. Whoa, did you see that? That guy fucking threw that spear sideways. Yeah. Just another, like, example of jank from the game engine. I want to have the freedom to spend money where I want it to, and hire the people that I want to, and spread the money around how I want to. And yeah, I don't know. I've had trouble asking for help in the past, but hopefully the engagement that I get from this video will help me gauge how people react to me asking for help. And there's seriously no obligation if you're short on cash or whatever. Just keep in mind that if the Kickstarter is successful, I'll make every single mod idea listed in that straw poll, from like the glass exploding one, or the destructible bullets one, to the body diversity, where you'll have like fat and skinny couriers, to like yeah, well, I mean, I'm already working on Project Agility, but that's going to get done too. How about this? How about you... Yeah, I don't know. Well, I've run out of things to say, so I'm just going to kind of leave you with all of those thoughts, and whatever you do, please comment. Even if you don't support me on the Kickstarter thing, just comment on this video and tell me your thoughts. Tell me if this video is too long.